This is my dissection of the cow eyeball. To start, I looked at the outside features of the eye. The outside membrane of it is known as the sclera. The sclera is the outer covering of the eyeball. It's tough and it has an oblique sheet of connective tissue that protects the inner structures of the eyeball and helps maintain rigidity. The next part of it is right here, which is called the cornea. In my cow eye, it is cloudy due from it being taken from an animal and that is now was being preserved, but it is normally clear. The cornea is the transparent covering that allows light to enter the eye on a preserved specimen. The next part I'm going to look at is the cornea. The cornea in mine is cloudy because it is from the animal and it has been preserved, but it is normally transparent. The cornea is the transparent covering that allows light to enter into the eye. On a preserved specimen, the cornea is actually... The next part I'm going to talk about is the cornea. The cornea is a covering that allows light to enter into the eye. Normally it is transparent, but when it is from a preserved specimen, it becomes cloudy. The next part is known as the optic nerve. The optic nerve on mine is cut off, but you can see part of it right here. The optic nerve is a bundle of nerve cells that send signals from the eye into the brain. I then made a cross section into the eye, behind the middle of the eyeball through the sclera. And when I opened it, the aqueous humor, the aqueous humor oozed out. Then I dropped out the parts that is right here. I then made a cross section of the eye and cut it open behind the middle of the eyeball through the sclera. I then let the vitreous humor ooze out along with the other parts inside the eyeball. Once I had it cut open, I looked at the inside portion of the eyeball. The part that came out is known as the lens, which is right here. The lens is a biconvex transparent structure that focuses the light coming in through the cornea in the pupil. Looking in the eye, you can then see the vitreous body, which is this part, and then the back part. It is the cavity between the retina and the back of the lens. The hyaloid fossa is in the center of the vitreous body that supports the lens. Surrounding the hyaloid fossa is the zonula ciliaris. The zonula ciliaris is the ligaments that suspend the lens and stretch it to focus the light. This was originally in there but fell out when I took it out. The lines that are in the hyaloid fossa are pigments that came from the iris. The next part is the iris. The iris is the diaphragm that regulates the size of the pupil. And right in here, it's a little cloudy in there because of the cornea. This is known as the pupil, and this is the opening through which light enters into the eye. So the next part is I removed the cornea, the front of the eye. The next part we will relook at is the cornea. The cornea I then cut out of the eye and laid it on my tray and cut it to show how thick the cornea actually was. This is known as the retina. It was previously removed when I was doing the dissection, but I placed it back in. Before, when I removed the retina, it stuck right into there. The next part that we're going to look at is the retina. The retina is the light-sensitive portion of the eye composed of receptor cells called rods. The next part we're going to look at is the retina. It is the light-sensitive portion of the eye composed of receptor cells called cones and rods. And this is right here. I removed it before when I removed it when I did the dissection earlier. So that's why I just replaced it back in. The cones that is located in the retina are receptor cells of the retina that are responsible for perceiving color. The rods are receptor cells of the retina that are responsible for perceiving differences in light sensitivity. When pulling it back, it got stuck right about here. And right there is where the blind spot is known as. And it is the area of the retina where the receptor cells converge to form the optic nerve. It is also where there is no rods or cones located. Okay. I will now take the retina back out of the eye. The next part we will look at is the choroid, which is right here. This is the thin dark sheet of tissue between the retina and the sclera. Moving down is to the part that is the iridescent blue and green with the shades of yellow is called the tapetum lucidum, and it is the iridescent portion of the choroid tissue. It helps in night vision by reflecting available light back into the retina. And this is the end of my cow eyeball dissection.